Morning, Nigeria, and I make you welcome. This is Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. I am Henry Igwebike, and let's start today with our newspapers, and possibly we will be moving on to our main conversation also for today. Do well, if you may, to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can find us, reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I'm very so honored to have with me, joining me via Zoom, Emeka Madunagu, journalist, public affairs analyst, to see through all that we have from our newspapers, and if possibly we'll move through our main conversation for today. Good morning, Emeka, and happy weekend to you.
Yeah, good morning. Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your time, as always. And I love us to kickstart today with the first daily on our desk, coming from the Weekend Trust. That is the weekend version of the Daily Trust newspaper for today. Tinubu appoints new service chiefs. Wow. Wow, this is a big one. Nigerians didn't see this coming, which of course would mandate I ask the question Emeka had always never accepted for a while now. We have other stories. Meet the man who may be PDP chairman. Crumbling love stories of Nigerian celebrities. How governors reshape Northern Emirates. Stories of children suffering from malnutrition. Of course, with over 23 million out-of-school children, especially from the northern part of Nigeria, this is a very disturbing matter. Ivory Coast votes amid fear of violence. How gold for arms fuels terror in the north and the west. That's the northwest and the west of Nigeria. Emeka, you know, you've always refuted the fact that the coup scare was just a propaganda tool by Tinubu's administration to maybe divert our attention of Nigerians to some other things rather than his lopsided governance style. But replacing service chiefs or appointing new service chiefs, don't you think we are slowly but surely getting into not just the coup as a postulate, but right now a theory? What's your take?
Well, the fact that the president changed the service chiefs, you know, it's just routine. They've been there for excuse me, for 2 years. So, and it's at the I think it's at the behest of the president. I'll need to check the Armed Forces Act on tenure of service chiefs. But as it stands, you know, of course, their performance had left a lot to be desired, you know, and so that's why they just they just had to be moved away, you know, because I mean, look at it now. Look at insecurity, you know. Look at insecurity. Look at you know, the whole country is so unsafe, and it's as if we don't have military chiefs, you know. I mean, they've just been there. They've not been pulling their weight. I mean, look at for instance, in the Navy. I mean, Nigeria is paying a private military contractor 4 billion naira every month. That is the Tantita Security Services. 4 billion naira every month. You know, I mean, to safeguard the pipelines. To safeguard the pipelines. And I mean, that's embarrassing. When we have a Nigerian Navy, we have a master. You know, I mean, how can we be paying a private military contractor 4 billion naira? That means the Navy is not living up to its billing. The Navy is not living up to expectations. Then you have I mean, look at the army chiefs. The chief of army staff who was made the chief of defense staff. Maybe the president, maybe for one reason or the other, you know. I mean, or maybe for one reason or the other, you know. Didn't just want to throw him out. That's why he just promoted him. You know, he just made him chief of defense staff. But of course, you know that, you know, definitely, you know, it's at the discretion. You know that the service chiefs are basically independent. It's not as if they are beholden to the chief of defense staff, you know. So that's why you just find out that the president had to sack them. So there are a lot of inconsistencies and contradictions in the nation's security architecture. How can you be paying a private military contractor 4 billion naira every month to safeguard pipelines? Why not put that money into improving the security architecture? Why not put that money into acquiring drones and other sophisticated equipment? Boko Haram has been using drones, for attacks in Borno State. The governor of Borno has been warning. How much do drones cost? I don't think you spend up to 4 billion naira on drones, to patrol the entire Niger Delta, to patrol the Northeast. In fact, to even patrol parts of the country. I don't think if Israel can send drones, Iran will send drones to Israel to bomb Israel. Ukraine can send drones to bomb Russia. These are bigger territories than Nigeria. Then you see that we can't acquire drones. We are acquiring fighter jets, that work on limited, time spans and all that, in the air. But drones, how much do drones cost?
But Emeka, drones are just merely for, that is, if you do not want them to go kinetic. Drones are just there to observe. We still need men on the ground. We still need foots on the ground.
Drones. I'm not talking of drones for videographers.
I understand what you're saying, because if you're talking about drones, it means that we need a kinetic sort of drones that when it sees something, it would attack, and that is not, I think, the best approach to ending bunkering in the Niger Delta and maybe insurgency in the northwest and the northeast of Nigeria. We still need men on the ground.
No. Modern warfare.
Because this is not a full-blown war, Emeka. Now, this is not a full-blown war.
You see, that is where we miss it as a country. People regard you as an enemy. They are fighting you as if you are at war. You are calling them bandits and fighting them as if they are people stealing pots of stew from somebody's kitchen, backyard kitchen. These people are cutting slices of your territory. These people are almost wrecking your economy. Our OPEC production quota is between 2.2 million barrels and 2.5 million barrels per day. Right now, since Tinubu came in, we have not been able to hit 2 million barrels per day on a realistic basis. And you are saying you are not at war? You waiting until you have no single barrel to produce before you know you're at war? These people keep killing our soldiers. Just some weeks ago, they killed an officer and some soldiers. They use drones to attack you. No, it's just like sending people out with guns to go and fight people with AK-47. How do you do that? You must change your military strategy. The president must upgrade the president must upgrade the threat level of the country. We are at war. There's no doubt about that. We are at war. The United States doesn't make a distinction between fighting a sovereign country and fighting terrorists. Look at how he dealt with ISIS in Iraq. Look at how he faced the Taliban. What are we talking about? When the United States came in 2020, I think April, to rescue one American missionary who was kidnapped in Niger and moved across the border to Nigeria. He didn't come with a military band now, playing a birthday song. They came with SEALs who were fully armed, ready to do damage. And they did damage, adequate damage. They got the American hostage back home. What we are talking about is results. But if we keep deceiving ourselves, we are not at war and all of that. That is what we give the impetus to terrorists, to continue to deal with us. We are at war. Donald Trump came in and renamed the Department of Defense to Department of War, saying America is at war. America is at war. There are different threats at different levels. Even beyond the ones we see. We have bioterrorism. We have cyber terrorism. You have people who want to destroy your food chain. Is that not happening in Nigeria? So what else do we need to see before we know we're at war? Maybe we should even copy the American example and rename the Ministry of Defense the Ministry of War. Because we're at war.
All right.
I think we should stop. Look, we should stop papering over the threats facing this country. It's not a joke. I mean, it's not a joke. Our borders are porous. There's no doubt about that. So what we need is that we must have a 24-hour response mechanism using drones. Because let me tell you something. You know, during the rainy season, these fighter jets cannot really work so much because the bushes are overgrown. You understand? So these terrorists, Boko Haram and the rest of them, they can make good use of the foliage, you know, of the dense foliage to hide, right? But you have to wait till the dry season. So are we going to keep quiet and wait while these people, you know, decimate our troops? The answer is no. In the dry season, if they make any movement, it will kick up dust and it will show where they are. So let us maybe rename the Ministry of Defense to Ministry of War. Let's go all out and fight this war and win it. Simple. Thank you.
All right, that's awesome one, Emeka. Of course, it's a developing story. We hope to see facts to why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually displaced his former aides, military aides, and why he replaced them with new ones, and what that means, especially for security in Nigeria and politics in the military as we speak today. We have other trending matters from the Punch newspaper, Saturday Punch, if we may, in the next 60 seconds. Obasanjo, I rejected El Rufai as my successor over immaturity. Do you think El Rufai is still very immature when it comes to politics and his rants and the many things he has to say? When he is in your camp, he plays according to your rules. When he is out of your camp, he says something different. Speak to us on El Rufai's persona as it is today regarding what President Obasanjo said. Hopefully that he would have replaced Yar Adua, the late. Speak to me, Emeka.
Talking about Obasanjo's choices, I think Obasanjo was significantly distracted as, you know, after he lost that third term bid in 2005. So, you know, because he already had Umar Yar'Adua as a possible replacement. I came across a copy of the Aso Rock. I think they have then they had a bulletin, an in-house magazine. I don't know if they still have it. You know, where Obasanjo had given a hint that he was backing Yar'Adua to succeed him. You know, he gave a hint at a public event where Yar'Adua was. You know, he made some statement. I saw that magazine in the library of the newspaper where I was working at that time. You know, and so I was wondering, why didn't the media see this? We were so focused on the third term. Then thereafter, you know, we just lost. You know, we just lost the plot. So, El Rufai, yes, it could have been considered. He said because of immaturity. Of course, you know, El Rufai is a petulant, you know, and very self-absorbed individual. He believes he knows so much. He believes everybody should kowtow to him, you know. And so, and again, you know, he has extreme views. Look at on the issue of religion. You know, see here, he was the one who brought in a Muslim ticket in Kaduna State. Even when Buhari was regarded as a bigot, as a religious bigot. Buhari was said to have rejected the idea of a Muslim presidency in 2014. You know, yet early 2015, when he was to pick a running mate. He was to pick Tinubu as his running mate. It was suggested to him, but he was said to have rejected it. You know, that no. How will he convince people? You know, because he had been cutting different churches and all of that. Remember, in the earlier run in 2011, he ran with Pastor Tunde Bakare. So he was conscious of that, how will I explain to people? How will I explain this Muslim ticket? But then Rufai went ahead. You know, I said he didn't give a damn. You know, and look at everything that happened in Kaduna. Look at the things he was saying about paying terrorists, you know, I mean, to pacify them. Look at what he said about those criminals, those terrorists that, those ones that are doing business, unlike Nnamdi Kanu, who is, you know, pushing for you know, separate, you know, or who is pushing a separatist agenda. So with all of that, nobody could have trusted him with power. As I did. Look at when he was trying to, upgrade the status of Abuja. I mean, make Abuja livable. Yeah, it was a good idea. But he took on it as if, I mean, there were other things other than just doing his job. So for you to be acceptable in leadership, you must be self-restraining. You must be able to restrain yourself. You must have those traits that make you realize you are not one of the crowd. You are what is called primus inter pares, first among equals. You're one of those that people should look up to you. People should emulate you, for enduring, for enduring values. Children should look up to you and be proud to say, that's my president. But the station where, I mean, you don't really care what your pronouncements, the things you support, how they impact on the people, then people have got to be very careful about choosing you for leadership. And I think that's Arifai's problem. I mean, he needs to find a way to, get over himself and really face issues, because he's not a young guy anymore. Once you cross 50, cross 60, you should become tempered. You should begin to think that, look, you have a duty to pass on a veritable legacy to up and coming generations. So you must moderate your comments. You need to inspire confidence in the generality of the people. And so Obasanjo just saying that, I mean, it's clear that, I mean, he saw things that people didn't see at that time. Thank you.
Very well, Emeka, absolutely well said. Given what happened in Kaduna, especially the chaos, the fracas, violent ones between the northern part of Kaduna and the southern part of Kaduna, and the mayhem and the killings that happened in the southern part of Nigeria, of Kaduna, sorry to say. And today, with the new governor, we've not seen any of those, which means that El-Rufai knows something that he hasn't told Nigerians, and equally have not told the Kaduna state people, and needs to really apologize to the southern part of Kaduna, because if this were a template like it was supposed to be so, it would still have been happening in the southern part of Kaduna. But with the new governor, none of that is happening in the southern part of Kaduna, which means that El-Rufai really needs to answer some questions here. But of course, given what Obasanjo has said, well, we'll look up to the future and see what that would make out of it. But of course, Emeka will still be here to take us on our main conversation when we return. IMF urges Nigeria to guard reform gains amid rising debt pressure. That in a beat. Enterprise Weekend it is. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back.